Hello out there. My name is the Gator. What do they call me? The boss with the hot sauce. And it is my pleasure to bring on, and I've said it before, I've been doing things since I've been 13 years of age. I've met Frank Sinatra, Sam Davis's best man, Sarah Vaughan, Billy Eckstine, Dinah Washington, Lena Horne, Bob Hope. This young lady is a jewel. This young lady represents our world of show business. She is show business royalty. Would you welcome Miss Dionne Warwick, ladies and gentlemen? The lady. The lady.
Thank you.
You know, you guys and I have been on this cruise for 7 times. And we've seen many wonderful, talented people. But as I said moments ago, this young lady, and you're going to learn an awful lot about her, she basically grew up gospel, choir, church, family. How old were you when you just actually began with that God-given talent?
Oh, boy. Well, if I tell you, like my mother told a lot of people, that I came out singing. So I've been singing all my life.
All in life.
Yeah.
Now, we met, actually, Dionne, we met with Don't Make Me Over.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 1962. But before that, and for our audience out there, you were doing sessions,
Yeah.
backup with Dee Dee and Sissy.
Sissy, yeah.
Some of the artists. Who were the artists back then? The Drifters?
Nice. The Drifters. It was B.B. King. It was Ray Charles.
The
Big
Shirelles?
Siders. The Shirelles. Oh, my goodness. Multitude of very talented
yeah, I mean,
people.
and that's interesting because when you made Don't Make Me Over with Burt Bacharach, and I've said this to Dionne so many times, Dionne Warwick is the glove that fit the hand that made Burt Bacharach and Hal David. Do you agree on that, ladies and gentlemen? You created a whole new sound that was not rock and roll, that today is revered all around the world. You know, and when I look at you, I say to myself, the angels created, all right, someone that made a dream come true. I long to be close to you. That's you, man. I mean, that is absolutely you.
Thank you. Okay, what can I say?
Listen, how did it happen with Burt, though? Because Burt, as you know, Burt Bacharach and Hal David, the first thing they wrote was for Perry Como, Magic Moments, back in those days, because Burt was writing and Hal was writing also, and he was writing with Hilliard,
Yeah.
Burt, at that time. How did that happen for you?
You know, well, I met Bert first, and he had written with Bob Hilliard a song called Mexican Divorce
Right.
for the Drifters. And our group was doing the background on that session. And after the session, he asked if I would be interested in doing demonstration records of songs that would be writing with a new songwriting partner, Hal David. And as long as it did not interfere with my education, or you'd have to deal with my mother. And they both agreed that my education, of course, was very important, and that it would not interfere at all. So subsequently, I started doing demonstration records of songs they were writing for other artists. And I don't know if you all know what a demonstration record is. You know?
It's a demo
It's a
before
song,
it is released.
Yeah, well, it's a song written by a songwriter that I record to show the person that they wrote the song for what they wanted to hear, how they wanted it sung. And I did a lot of those. As it turned out, they wrote a song called It's Love That Really Counts. And that song was written for the Shirelles and was sent to Scepter Records. And Florence Greenberg, who was the proprietor of Scepter at the time, decided that she did not want the song, but she wanted the voice, and the voice was me. And then we went round and round and round because I was in college, and no, you're not going to do anything because of school, my mother said. And that's what it was. I was in school. So what we did was I convinced her that I could do both. I could stay in school, and on the weekends I'd come into New York and do demonstration records. And that's how that all worked out.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting because It's Love That Really Counts. If you listen to the soundtrack, and if you listen to Dionne's version, it's basically the same soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Going back. Don't Make Me Over. Well, I heard this song in New York. Florence Greenberg, who owned the company, called me and said, I want you to come into New York City. I want you to hear the new song by the Shirelles, Foolish Little Girl.
Yeah.
When I got there, Bert stopped me. He said, look, before you see Florence, I want to play something for you. He played this demo called Don't Make Me Over. Now that, I said, wow, who is this girl? It was Dionne Warwick, ladies and gentlemen. What had happened, Tommy Hunt also had his voice on one of the versions, which Florence, the same track, same exact track, wanted the release. I said to Bert, give me this demo. I went back to Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen, and I swear to you, I was on a little cockamamie station called WCAM, and I played this record. The phones went off the wall. Record stores were getting calls the next day. Who is that voice? Because when you heard it for the first time, I never heard a voice like this in my life. And you will never hear a voice like Dionne Warwick ever again, ladies and gentlemen. Never.
Wow.
Never. So record stores are getting calls. Mainline was the record distributor. They're calling me. I said, call the record company. I have nothing to do with it. I love it. Florence Greenberg called me up screaming, and she was a wonderful Jewish woman. She called everybody Bubala. What she called everybody?
Bubala.
But yeah, that's, you know. She says, "What are you doing? I don't have product yet." I said, "Listen, it's a smash." And she came into Philadelphia. She did a record hop with me. 2,000 kids.
Yeah.
It was the first time you ever appeared
That's
at a record hop.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was.
I mean, you gotta understand, it's the first appearance. And from that moment on, song after song. And you know, when I see your show, a thought come into my mind. When you go see another performer, they'll sing their song, but then they'll sing other people's songs. Every song that she sings, which you saw last night, belongs to Dionne Warwick. It is her songs.
That's true.
I mean, and what a career. I mean, I remember the movie The Slave with Stephen Boyd.
Slave.
You know, she was in a movie. You've done TV. How many of you remember Solid Gold? This is the young lady. What happens, though, a kid like you thrown into the spotlight at an early age? How did it affect you?
Well, I wasn't allowed to be affected. You didn't know my family. But, you know, it was very easy. Fortunately, I come from an incredible family who loved me, supported me, and kept me grounded. You know, it was a case of when I was on the road at this period of time, I would come home and go to Mommy's house, and it was okay after dinner, get in there and wash those dishes. And that's what I did. I went in there and washed those dishes. So, you know, I never lost the quality of being just me. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's a lot of fun being me, I'll tell you that. It's easy being me.
Well, they love you being you, right, ladies and gentlemen?
I do too.
Listen, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with more of this magnificent lady. All right, we are back, and I don't have to tell you about Malt Shop Memories Cruise, the greatest talents of them all. But sitting next to me and speaking with me to all of these wonderful people is, as I said, royalty. Because when I say royalty, not too many people have accomplished through all of the years at the top of the game. You've never really had a lean year because of the music, Dionne Warwick.
That's true. That is true. I've gone through. Well, yeah, I've gone through every era of music right now.
I mean, I go
Yeah.
back with the Spinners. I go back with Isaac Hayes, with Deja Vu with you. I mean, the songs that you've recorded. And I must tell you, the friends that she's developed, Johnny Mathis, Stevie Wonder, ladies and gentlemen, Sammy, and let me tell you something. You all heard of Frank Sinatra. Tell them how you and Frank are together.
First of all, we share the same birthday, December 12th.
December the 12th.
And I met him, actually, he asked me to do a benefit with him, and I did. I was at the very beginning of my career. And from that moment to the moment that he no longer is with us, he made his transition. I referred to him affectionately as Poppy, because he decided that I was his daughter. I was his baby, and that was the way it was going to be. He was a wonderful, wonderful mentor, and between him, Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis. I mean, I had the creme de la creme, who were my mentors: Lena Horne, Diane Carroll, Sarah Vaughan. My mother and Sarah Vaughan went to school together. They went to high school together. So she was Aunt Sass to me. And so I had how can you describe these people other than the top of the top? These icons embraced me and became my moms and dads off the road.
Yeah.
They were just wonderful to me, and they kind of kept me
Grounded.
planted.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, Dionne, because I say it to the audience all the time. We people that come on these cruises, we are family, and you share with us family. And this is the wonderful thing about show business. It is a family. And Dionne once said to me, I will never forget it, Geeter, you know, this is called show business. And it is a business. You go out to perform, you got to look good. You got to be good. The performers of today do not have that philosophy of the Sinatras and the Dionne Warwicks and also the Sammy Davis Jr.'s. And that's the sad part, because you used to say to me, I'm watching Sammy. Look at the way he moves like that.
That's right.
And Dionne then would pick something up that Sammy did. And Sammy would pick something up that Sinatra did, because it was a family. What do you think about the performers of today? I mean, we're talking...
No.
You know. Well,
when I was coming up, and you're going to be enjoying the Shirelles, the Orleans, and other major acts who were a part of my era coming up, there was a camaraderie that we still to this very day share. We became friends. We cared about each other. We watched out for each other. If somebody couldn't pay the rent that week, we all got together and gave them the money to pay the rent. We cared enough about each other to want to see everybody be successful. I'm not quite sure of the babies today. It seems like they feel that they invented show business. I feel very, very proud to say that I stand on the shoulders of those who have gone on before me and have showed me how and what not to and what to do. It's amazing. You look at some of these babies and it's like, I think my shoulders have grown broad enough for them to stand on right at this point in time. I may have something I can share with them, but I think they know everything.
yeah, they don't listen.
So, what am I going to tell them? you're old school. And I keep telling them, yeah, they had to be an old school before there was a new one.
does you are something else, man. Let me tell you, there are so many great thoughts about this lady that go through my mind. I mean, every major TV show she did, you did Rockville Files. I remember that, right?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, and what was it for you when you hosted Solid Gold?
Mm-hmm.
Tell them the story about the producers. You'll love this story
Yeah.
about a guy that we're
Well,
talking about. Tell them the story. This is a great
Well,
story.
It's you have runners who book shows, etc. You have producers and directors who feel that they know it all. Well, I was fortunate enough to be the host of Solid Gold and had a wonderful time doing so. And got a lot of people that did not do television to come on the show. As a matter of fact, I approached one of the producers one afternoon and I said, you know what? Have you ever thought about having Frank Sinatra on Solid Gold? He looked at me like I had four heads. So he said, oh, yeah. So let's get Sinatra. I said, well, I can call him. Yeah, you can call him. I said, yeah, I can. He said, well, get Sinatra. Bring him on the show. I said, okay, I will. And I called Poppy and said, Poppy, you want to do Solid Gold with me? He says, what's Solid Gold?
He thought it was his watch.
I said, it's a TV show I'm hosting, and I'd love you to come on. It's a music show, and if you would grant me that wish, it would be wonderful. He said, okay, kid, I'll do that. So I said, oh, wonderful. So I told Brad Lockman, who was one of the producers, I said, Mr. Sinatra will be on the show tomorrow. He said, yeah, right. I said, yeah, he will be. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to put Jack Daniels, Black Label, soda,
Jelly
lime, and jelly beans in his dressing room. Yeah, okay. I said, no, I'm serious now. He says, all right, fine, I'll do that. I'll have the stuff. And he did. He put all that ass in the dressing room. Nobody, of course, believed that he was going to be there.
Now remember, this is rock and roll, guys.
And, well, that afternoon, when Jilly Rizzo walked in that back door, that's when everybody said, uh-oh. Yeah. So when Jilly walked in, he said, hey, kid. I said, hey, how you doing, Jill? He said, oh, I'm doing all right. He said, the boss will be here in a few minutes. I said, oh, okay, wonderful. Well, when he said the boss will be here in a minute, Brad Lockman got to the phone, and he called upstairs in the high tower, the suits. I had never met anybody in the tower before. They all filed in. And I wanted to know, who are these people? This is Paramount. These are the people who had up the studio. I said, oh, wonderful, okay. So Julie said he should be here. In fact, he's here. I thought it was so funny because I loved it too. He said, okay, folks, back up. Back up. He does not like crowds. Back up. And they all started backing up. I felt so powerful. And when Mr. Sinatra walked in the door, it was like, holy crap. He is here. He is really here. And also, I feel a sense of pride because I happen to also be the only one who has recorded a duet with Frank Sinatra.
Before anybody.
Live, and it's on film. So I'll hold that distinction.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Huh? All right, we have to take a little break. Are we going to take a break? And then we'll be right back. We'll be right back. Dionne Warwick. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, here at Malt Shop Memories Cruise with Miss Dionne Warwick. And we're talking about show business, and we're talking about a family, as Dionne said just moments ago, of people who may never see each other for a period of time, But when we come together, there's smiles, there's hugs, and that's what show business is about. And when she ends her show, what does she end her show with? That's what friends are for, right? And that's what our life is.
Absolutely.
You know, thinking about all of these years that you've done, is there anything that you feel you would like to do at this point of your life? You know, you and I are the same age, by the way.
I would love to be at home in my bed.
Wait, it's in the blood
No,
now.
I'm serious. You know, I'd spend my life in hotels and in airplanes. If people ask me, where do I live? I tell them I live in the air. You know, it would be wonderful to literally just kind of kick my shoes off and just look at TV like I did today. That's all I did. I had a marathon today. I did. I had a marathon of Castle. I watched Castle all day long. I loved it. From 8 o'clock this morning until I came down here.
Listen, I called. She wouldn't even pick up the phone.
That's right.
Let me tell you the schedule. She leaves here tomorrow. She goes to Chicago. She then goes to Australia. I mean, it is, you have no idea how this woman, this kid, this teenager is loved. I mean, tell me about Brazil.
Oh, that's my heart. That's my second home. And I made that decision when I first went there for the very first time back in the 60s, my first tour of Brazil. And I've been going back maybe every other year. We go down and do another part of the Brazil and learn more about the country, the people. It's just somewhere that I felt this is where I belong. So I've made it my second home, and love the music, love the people, love the food. Oh my God, the food. The food is incredible. But it's just a place that I've been asked a lot of people, have you ever been? No. Have you ever thought about it? No. I said, give yourself a favor and do it.
Yeah.
And those who have thanked me profusely. Yeah, I now understand what you're talking about.
Out of everything that you've done, though, is the one thing in your mind that sticks out as very special in your life that maybe changed your life and direction?
No, Jerry, there have been so many incredible things that have happened during the course of this. It's now 56 years.
Yeah, yeah.
Going into.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say, you know, yeah, this was very special because there have been too many that have happened during the course of all 56 years. So
Amazing.
I can't.
Now, we got time for some questions, but if you would, you're going to have to, because I guess the cameras, we can't pick you up. So I will hear you and I will repeat. Any questions? This man there. Yes, sir.
I went to school in California.
He went to school in California.
Las Vegas, they used to do 2 shows a night. All the names you mentioned, I saw you plenty.
Yeah.
Like the 8 o'clock was a dinner show, $9.95 dinner. The cocktail show was 11, $7.50, 2 drinks. Lounge show, big names for the lounge, but 2 shows a night. It was so classy. I mean, those times, and I
Yeah.
can't see the performers doing 2 shows like they did in those
Are
days.
you kidding me?
Wait.
Still here in Atlantic City, I think you did 6 shows.
Absolutely.
In the 60s, I mean, it was unbelievable. Those
Well,
days.
Yeah,
listen, when Dionne started, we used to be the bus tours.
that's right.
I mean, we had a family on a bus. You get a bus in New York City, you do 26 one-nighters, go into Canada, out of Canada, and you know, here's another interesting thing. People talk about royalties and money. Performers back then didn't know anything about the money, correct or
No,
wrong?
we didn't really. We were happy to be doing what we were doing
Right.
and loved every minute of it. And it's because of folks like you who supported us and kept us going. You know, that was the magic of being in show business for us. We were lucky we had hit records, and thank you very, very much for making it happen. But also, the audience themselves. And you showed us how much you loved us. You showed up, filled them seats up, and applauded and sang with us, and all the things that you did last night with me. You know, exactly that.
You know, it's funny because back then, the artist did not have the lawyer. The record company had the lawyer. Today, the artist has the lawyer who,
We have
who negotiates with the record company. But, you know, I look back at the whole thing, man, and we really lived at a wonderful time.
Yes, we did.
You know, and I say to this audience all the time, the music spoke for your heart. Every time you hear Dionne Warwick sing a song, it's about your life, man. Anyone who had a heart. All of the wonderful songs. And the reason that this magnificent talent is here, because if you look at her, and if you see her, look in her eyes, and when she sings, she's expressing things that we feel. Do you agree on that, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, yeah. And the great songwriters, I mean, Rodgers and Hart and Jerome Kern, I mean, Bert, and, you know, it's a whole different world today.
Yes, it is.
It's a whole different world.
Well, you know, we have to also acknowledge the fact that we're living in another time. And as with our era, my mother complained about it.
She complained about rock and roll.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and as my boys were growing, I kind of started saying, what are you listening to? You know, and as we get older and listen to what's happening today, you know, of course we want to hear the things that we're accustomed to hearing, but times have changed, and we have to acknowledge that.
How was the experience working with Quincy, with Michael Jackson and that whole crew on the show?
Wonderful. You know, that was my era,
Right.
show business. You know,
Right.
that's what I was taught, and I continue to believe that that's the way we're supposed to do it.
Yeah. How about little Stevie?
That's my baby,
Yeah.
one of my babies.
I mean, you know, it's Dionne Warwick has influenced so many people because of the fact that young people back then would listen and look up, as I said earlier, to the other performer.
That's right.
I mean, and Sarah Vaughan, as you said, I mean, Billy Eckstine. I mean, Sarah Vaughan sang with Billy Eckstine's band back then when Billy was blowing trumpet, you know. So it's just that, and you know, you people, and I've said this before, you keep all of these performers going. You are the energy. I said to Dionne, she went to dinner last night, got a standing ovation after dinner. She wasn't singing. A standing ovation after dinner.
For eating.
So, you know, it's one, no regrets, right?
None.
No
None.
regrets.
All the ups, all the downs, and all the in-betweens. Everything is supposed to happen because it's supposed to happen.
If you could change anything today,
Nothing.
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 Not one thing.
I
Yeah.
feel the same way, man.
I know you do. I know.
We've been blessed. We have been blessed because, you know, and you know, everything we're talking about, Pike, is in the book about Frank. I'm not saying that to sell the book. No, it. Oh, they got the book. No, but now, have you read Dionne's book, by the way? It is amazing. It's by the way, the book is available on the ship here on the cruise. You know, I think we have. Here you go. He's got the book. How long did
Thank you.
How long did it take you to do that? Right.
You know, it didn't take very long at all. I did it while I was on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing. The young man, Dave Woolley, who kind of kept questions coming at me. He asked all the right questions and brought back so many memories. And I would, after my shows, I'd go to my room and I'd get on my computer and I'd type, you know, according to the question, I'd answer them and email them to him.
Were you a good student? You
I was
typed?
a massive student.
How about that? Because when you said you typed.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. You know, you came from a family of show business. I mean, Dee Dee and then Sissy. I mean, that whole family. I
We
mean,
had a little girl named Whitney.
yeah. But it all began in gospel,
Absolutely.
right? In gospel.
Yep.
You know, and some of the, as a matter of fact, all of the great singers, I mean, the soul singers. I mean, Gladys Knight, I mean, terrific.
Aretha Franklin.
Right. I mean,
You know, the list is so massive. We all came out of church. We all still go to church and are still a part of that. That will never leave us. And that's where we got all of our training, basically.
right, right.
You know, gospel music is the most incredible way of emoting. That's what we're doing. We're singing the Bible in form of song.
Well, you're serving a purpose, man. How about the kids?
My babies, I have 2 sons, David, who is my eldest, who has a magnificent voice. He's also an incredible songwriter. As a matter of fact, he wrote Here and Now for Luther Vandross. Remember that song? Here and Now. Okay, anyway. And I don't know why he chose this profession, but he's a police officer.
God bless him. Listen, that's a one.
You
Listen,
know,
listen.
it's not my choice of profession for him, but that's what he makes him happy. And as long as God keeps his arms around him and keeps him safe, that's all that matters. My youngest son, Damon, is a producer, songwriter as well. And as a matter of fact, he produced and engineered my most current CD. So, you know, and I've got 7 incredible grandchildren. Yeah, so I'm pretty blessed, you know.
Especially when you're on the road doing everything you do and keeping it all together.
Yeah. Well, you know, I do, you know, and as my babies were growing, of course, I took them on the road with me until they were school age, and then I kind of scheduled my schedule around them.
You've always
my
been a mom.
Oh, absolutely. My grandbabies, I'd take them on the road now and expose them to the world and let them see what China is like, and let them see what England is like, and let them see what New Jersey is like. You know, absolutely. You know, so they'll know about everything and be able to interact with people worldwide. I think that's very important, and it's very educational as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you've seen a side of Dionne Warwick that you will never, ever see again. A lady who is grounded, who's got a God-given talent, and has never forgotten where she's come from and where she came from and where she's going. Miss Dionne Warwick. Royalty. Royalty. Thank you.